What up, YouTube? It's your homie Tony Bugs, and we're gonna be talking about Tank Davis and Mexico Americano Ryan Garcia, King Ryan, ya se la saben. Today, Wednesday, they kicked off the press conference in New York City, East Coast, you could say. And Tank Davis is a East Coast baby, you know what I'm saying? And then tomorrow, Thursday, they gonna come to the West Coast. Cali, LA for the Los Angeles press run. So, you know what I'm saying? For Ryan's turn and hey man, it's crazy. Tank pulled off some not so professional moves, you know what I'm saying, by showing up an hour late and had everybody waiting, the whole media and everybody that's involved, the zone crew and Showtime, but I mean, it just shows, unprofessionalism, but I mean, it is what it is. Tank thinks he's the ish, you know what I'm saying? He's a star and all that, but I mean, he can do what he do. All right, cool, but I mean, don't mean that is right. He showed up. I mean, he is a drip god, but I mean, to pull up with a purse and a purple chinchilla looking ass jacket, whatever it was. I mean, the purse got me though, cause how you gonna pull up with a purse, Tank? I rock with you, man, but how you gonna pull up with a purse, bro? Like I can't rock with that. You know what I'm saying with that and with the funny ass earring, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I always said, I always say that Tank. I feel Tank is spooked for real. I feel like he's spooked, and because I mean they were making it hard for the fight to be made. Like, what was the holdup? And still, you know what I'm saying, Ryan had to let a lot of things go just to get the fight made for sure. So the fight had to be at 136, which is weird because Tank went up for Barrios at 140, but trying to have an advantage for versus Ryan at at 136. That tells me that tells me they're scared for sure. That tells me they're scared, and I mean, why not? Tank Tank might have fought more champs and all that, but remember, bantamweight fighters moving up, that don't count. I don't give a fuck if they're four division, but Leo Santa Cruz, I mean, Leo Santa Cruz, the most he probably walks around was like at those times, he's coming up. He came up from 118. The most he probably walked around was maybe 145, and I mean, I doubt that soaking wet. But I just feel like Tank has always knocked out fighters in the lower weight classes, and yeah, that's how you can get KOs for sure. But I mean, that doesn't really prove anything because Tank is a fighter that be walking around 160 for sure. So it's just that he fights at the 130s and 135. So he's always gonna have an advantage, and especially for his power. So a fighter that blows up, not in fight shape. Uh, I mean, just always a heavier guy, and then plus his punching power versus those little guys that he makes come up. Like, I mean, everybody can say that he's gonna rock. He's gonna rock Ryan. He's gonna KO him, but I mean, he for sure did a lot of spooky shit of not wanting to sign the fight. Now it's signed and all, but remember, it's still time for someone to back out. Hopefully, it don't happen. But I mean, Tank fighting Pedraza. Who did Pedraza ever beat? Nobody. So I mean, you see, Pedraza has not beaten anybody of note. So I mean, it's Pedraza. Then he knocked out Santa Cruz. Then his last fight, the Dominican cat, he brought up from 130, like not even a 135 pounder. So it's like I rock with Tank Heavy, but I mean he was always in that TMT Mayweather Promotions protection agency for show. Cause I mean they never let Tank fight Loma. That's a fighter that he should have fought way back a couple years back, at least 4 years ago. But he's barely stepping up. I mean, I'll give him the Pitbull Cruz fight, but they thought they were gonna have a easy win in their hands, and they didn't. You see what happened? Yeah, um, Tank he beat Cruz with one hand, but he didn't get him out of there. So he ain't the puncher that they say that he is. Because Cruz is an actual 135 pounder, and they fumbled that fight thinking that it was going to be an easy fight, and it didn't turn out that way. It wasn't as easy as they thought that was going to be. So I feel like they almost took an L right there because it was a close fight. It could have gone either way, but um, Tane got the W, and ever since then they noticed, all right, well we need to not mess up, because if we give these unknown fighters a chance, they could end up winning versus our guys. So it's like that's why they brought up the other Garcia, the Dominican Garcia, up from 130, even though he was a champ, but from 130 to 135, where Tank has the advantage. Now he's fighting Ryan at 136 when they should have been at 140, since Ryan's at 140 already, and Tank been done fought at 140. So why not fight at 140? But I mean, it's trying to have an advantage, all right. And now Ryan said at the press conference today that he has a hydration clause, that he can't weigh over 10 pounds, because Tank is spooked that he looks big. Yeah, I look at Tank like a, like a bulldog that, that's a rough bulldog for sure. But I see Ryan as a doggo Argentino, them big mofos. So it's like Ryan been want to smoke. Uh, he been want to smoke, and he finally got the fight that he wanted versus Tank. Now we're gonna see. A lot of people are riding off, but I hope they're ready to see Tank get knocked out, because I feel like Ryan's gonna knock him out. And if he don't get knocked out, if Ryan don't get knocked out his damn self, because he just gotta fight a fight in the distance with his jab, and and I'm pretty sure he'll win, because he got the reach. He just gotta use it. Tank's at a disadvantage, because always the first half of the fight he's always losing, and it's not a coincidence that, oh, he's doing it as a strategy. Because I mean, who does that? You gotta try to win all ways, and you cannot afford to even give the first half of the fight away. Is just like, nah, you just don't do that. So I feel like if Ryan could keep distance and jab and throw to the body, but you know what I'm saying, not to get caught, Cause like I've been saying, yeah, Tank knocks out all these guys, but Leo Santa Cruz almost took him 12. And you're talking about a dude that came from up from 118. Ryan's a big dude and with height, so it's like you can't afford to do that with Ryan. And he wins in the speed department, and he has pop as well. So, I mean, you should not you got to play it smart either way. Like I don't see this fight being an easy fight for Tank in no way. That's why I even betted one of the homies that he thinks Tank got this in the bag. I mean, yeah, he might be the favorite, but just because he knocked out a whole bunch of little dudes, don't mean he's gonna knock out Ryan. They might think he's soft because he's a model and YouTuber and all this social media influencer. But I mean, who has Tank fought? Little guys under 130. I mean, I don't see that as having no credit because Tank been a heavy cat. He been like walking around 160, maybe even plus 160, 180. He don't do it as much anymore because he knows he can't. He has to stay more disciplined because he knows he can't go to 147 and do anything there. Yeah, he beat up Red Catch, but who the hell is Red Catch? He's not even a contender at 147. And I'm pretty sure Tank can beat up a lot of 147 pounders, but he cannot beat up the the top 10, top 5, definitely not the top 5. So it's like he knows that he has to stay in shape cuz he can't go past 140. And even at 140, he hasn't fought one of the best at 140, which is Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor beats Tank for sure. And I mean, for a reason, Tank don't do none of that. He just fights guys that he knows he can beat, and that's what it is. A lot of fans and a lot of media are just biased for whatever reason, but he has not. He has always been fighting guys coming up from like 118 and under 135. So it's like now that he's facing a real solid 135 pounder that is up at 140 now. Now you have now you're spooked and like, oh no, now you gotta come to 136. Like, bruh, why didn't you go up at 140? Where you fought Barrios, what you scared about? But like I've been saying, this I tell everybody, like he knocks out a lot of people from 135 south to 35 because I mean, they know how to do it. He coming from that Mayweather school, and it's all good. But Tank been not fighting the elites in his class. That's why he avoided Lomachenko. He avoided Lomachenko, and he avoided Haney's, the Ryans, Teofimos. It's just he avoided all the good guys, the elites, until barely now that the money fights are moving up. Now he noticed like, oh snap, I gotta get him now before they go to 147 and up because he's seriously gonna be at a disadvantage if he even tries to go to 147. But they're moving up to 140, and like it was from everything, all the media, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think the fight was gonna get made. Cool, good thing it got made. And they still yet to get in the ring, so you never know. Ryan been saying he wanted this fight, and he got it. But all I'm saying is that a lot of people are writing him off. But I'm pretty sure if uh if it was the other way around, Ryan had the all the power and he had Tank's size in height, and Tank had the height, but he had the speed and pop like Ryan. I'm pretty sure they'll say that, oh no, he just got all the advantages, and there's no way um, he'll lose to Ryan having all those advantages. But I see nobody saying giving Ryan that advantage. He might not use it, but I mean, hey, he got knocked, and he been knocked down, yeah, for sure, but by a gold medalist. Tank, well, maybe that Dominican cat. I don't know. He's probably an Olympic medalist or something, but I doubt it. I doubt it. He was a gold medalist. But like I said, either way, that dude was from a 130. I don't see that. I never seen that as no threat, and that dude almost took him 12 as well. So it's like someone like Ryan. If Ryan goes all 12, he's gonna win for sure. Uh, but I just feel like Tank is too short. He's just gonna be getting lit up by them left hooks. And then Ryan got that power advantage. Y'all saw how he did Fortuna. Fortuna's a awkward guy, gave everybody fits, but y'all saw how Ryan left them all in the canvas, eating canvas. But yeah, I see Ryan beating up little Tank, and cause Tank is just used to beating up on little guys from 130 south of 135. That's what he's been doing his whole career. When he was at 130, bringing guys up from 118, like, and everybody gets hyped for that. Like, what, bro? Really, guys from 118, and this dude be walking around like when he's not in fight mode or has a fight lined up, he be walking around like 170 plus. 170 for sure, easy. You could see it. He be huge. Not as much anymore, but I mean, like, I just don't see what a lot of motherfuckers see that Tank is this unstoppable Mike Tyson. Because with Cruz, he didn't knock out Cruz. He tried to, and that's why he broke his hand, because he just couldn't knock him out. So where did his power go right there? So I mean, they're spooked. Hell yeah, they're spooked. Because Ryan can do something for sure. And I feel like Ryan's gonna knock his ass out, but we're gonna see. I doubt yeah, for sure he might knock Ryan out, but I don't think so. I don't think he knocks out Ryan. I think Ryan he got what it takes to win that, and I feel like Ryan's one of the elites, and that's why he's fighting Tank, because Tank is one of them ones, but he just never he wasn't with it with fighting the other elites, because now that he's not with Mayweather anymore, now he's fighting the Ryans of the world, but everybody been calling him out, and he would just fight these unknown guys coming up from 118. Like, come on, bruh. Fighting these bantamweights and shit, and everybody gets hype over that. Like, nah, homie. Like we see through that. Like, we see through that, and we ain't. And it don't matter if Leo was a four division champ, yeah, but he came up from 118. Like, the fuck. Come on, fight. Go beat a Jose Ramirez, and then we'll give you props. Then we'll give you props. Go beat Josh Taylor and all that. Then you can say you're really the one. But beating these Barrios of the world, beating what's this guy, Luis Hector Garcia, coming up from 130. Why don't you fight the elites in your class at 135? The Haneys, the Ryan. Now you're barely fighting Ryan, but I mean, you should have been fought him. Ryan been wanting that fight. I know Ryan, you be pulling out of fights too, but I mean, he been wanting to fight. Long been wanting to fight. I mean, it's just that he was in that Mayweather protection. You know what I'm saying? It was in that Mayweather protection, and he's out of it somewhat. But I mean, we seen how it was to get the fight done. That fight had to be at 136 with rehydration clause and all that. Like, I just see it. I just see it in Tank. He's spooked. But I've been saying this, and I've been knowing that he has not fought anybody. The Pedraza, who is Pedraza? Pedraza, every time he goes up, he loses, takes a L. Leo Santa Cruz don't count because he came up from 118 and he's still at 130. Hector Luis Garcia came up from 130. Like, those are all little dudes. Everybody be so hyped that he knocked out a 130 pounder. When this guy be blowing up, like I've been saying, 160 plus walk around weight, not in fight shape. So it's like he knows that he's at a disadvantage, and it is what it is. That's why I feel like Ryan is gonna KO his ass. I've been saying that. And Ryan got a big chance to KO him. Tank is just at a disadvantage. He has the edge on his power, and that's why he has a puncher's chance. If Ryan could withstand the power, he's gonna lose. Tank's gonna lose, and that's why I even bet a homie like my money's on Ryan because Tank, the homie, this is what I'm saying, and I'm a big Tank fan too. But the way that his career had been moved, I was never a fan of that. Like I had been wanting him to fight Loma. He never did. He ducked. He was in the Mayweather protection, you know what I'm saying? Um, and what would Mayweather say? No, he's my fighter's not gonna fight him. We're gonna fight in-house fighters. The Rolly fight, Rolly. I mean, he's all right, but the only reason he fought Rolly was because, like I said, Mayweather in-house fight, and Tank was, in his last fights in his contract or whatever. So they try to get Rolly to beat him. But I mean, Rolly's ass. All he had is a puncher's chance too, and he didn't even have skill. And we just seen him get dropped in sparring not like this month. Rolly's been ass. He was never anybody. Interim WBA champ. Man, get out of here. That ain't shit. That Cuban not good. Like, he sucks. But like I've been saying, Tank just be knocking out fighters coming up from 118 pounds, and I mean that was never a good look. I mean he had some fans fooled, but I mean if you really know that Tank had not been fighting the elites, uh, and I mean Ryan ain't got a belt, but since he's hella known, they're gonna sell pay-per-views for show. But I mean they could have been fought. Now that it's hard for Ryan to make the 135 that he moved up, they want him to come down because they want to get every advantage. I mean, I see that as being pussy like. Why don't you go out there and fight at 140? Because then it's gonna be an advantage for the bigger Ryan. Yeah, like you gotta call it what it is. Like I feel Tank is spooked, and he knows that he can lose. So it's like I've been saying, Tank just knocks out a whole bunch of little guys south of 135. He never faced the elites at 135. It's just what it is until now that Ryan moved up, and he had pretty much sell his soul to get the fight, and Tank barely showed up because he was about not to show up. Y'all seen he pulled up to the press conference an hour late, so he was thinking about it. That little bulldog was thinking about it. He didn't want to go see the dog Argentino of that Ryan is, because that's that dog. Like he might be a pretty boy, but he with the smoke. He got the same amount of fights as Tank, just that he got the physical advantages over Tank, and he feels threatened. So Tank is second guessing, and his team as well. Ryan got him in height, speed, and pop. Ryan been knocked out former champs too. The thing is, Ryan knocked out former 35 pounders too, though. Champs. Tank Tank be knocking out fighters coming up from 118. And everybody gets hyped over that. Nah, once he knocks out the Ryans, the Haneys, the Teofimos, that's to give him credit, but he never did that. He was never about that smoke, because the Mayweather protection plan wasn't letting that happen. No way. But I mean, yo, you could fool the fans to an extent, because us real ones, we've been knowing that he had not been fighting the elite of his class. So it's like, until now, fighting the Ryans, and he says that he's gonna fight the Haneys of the world, the Shakurs, but Shakur hasn't really shown nothing at 135 yet. So I mean, that one we can give a pass. But the Haneys, Tio's at 140. But Tank ain't want to fight at 140. At least not the top guys. Because Reggie's been calling him out too. But I mean, we know what it is. Us real ones know what it is, and it's not that I'm a hater. It's just that I never liked how Tank's career was being moved, because he was just feeding on little fighters coming up from south of 135, and then when he did fight that one fighters at 135 was fighters no one even know of. Rowley, yeah, because he's a big mouth, and he be talking ish, and yeah, he would sell the fight. But I mean, who the hell is Rowley? He wasn't in the elite at 135. You know what I'm saying? Tank should have been fought Loma, should have been fought Teofimo, but he was happy holding his secondary titles and all that. He was happy not risking his own, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Fans are weird, and if you take a L, they stop being your fan. But I mean, if you're a real fan, you're gonna stick by the fighter that win, lose, or draw. So it's like, but we go back to the same thing. He was in the Mayweather protection agency for real, because they would not allow him to fight anybody. Now that he's his own promoter, his own entity, he could fight whoever. But we seen this with Ryan. Ryan had to sell his soul to get that fight. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like Tank is spooked, and he's finally stepping up and fighting a real a real fighter. Ryan might be an influencer and all that, but he's a real fighter. And a lot of people are writing him off, but I mean, but if you know Ryan got a chance. And the bookies might have Tank as a favorite, but I mean, the bookies are wrong at times as well. Which the closer the fight gets, the closer it's gonna get on the odds because they know this is a real 50-50 fight. I'll give it 55-45 edge on Tank. I always gave him the edge just because he has the power. But like I said, versus Isaac Cruz, he couldn't knock the pitbull out. He had a broken hand, but hey, when you have all this power, you should have knocked that boy out. Couldn't knock him out, and of course you're gonna be knocking out the dudes south of 135 because I mean they're little dudes, they're little guys. Even if they're champs, like I said, you're a fighter that walks around 170 plus with power. How the hell are you not gonna knock out these little guys when you be outweighing them? Yeah, you might make the weight too, but I mean, because you got that power. But now you're gonna fight someone with maybe not the same power as yourself, but speed and pop. Now it gets interesting. So, I mean, I see it as like I said, I see a 50-50 fight with 55-45 edge Tank for sure. Just off power and Ryan been he been knocked down before, but I mean by a gold medalist. Not anybody can be a gold medalist. Who won what? But I mean, Tank hasn't won. He hasn't. He ain't got no victory. You haven't even watched it. Watched what? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'll get back on in a little bit.